Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. I am Marianne a London High School senior, here to give you a tutorial targeted towards all educators, more specifically those teaching younger grades in ELA. The tutorial today will be focusing on how to teach your students the basic annotating skills. You will be getting into detail about how your students are able to annotate and create notes on any Word or PDF document. As we all know, annotating and taking notes is prominent in any ELA or history class, and it is much more effective teaching students the applications of a skill young rather than as they get older. In honor of it being February and Black History Month, it is vital to incorporate meaningful lessons for students to understand the importance of Black History Month. Today, we will be looking at one simple poem contributing to the importance of standing up for what is right. The annotating tasks that will be shown through the tutorial will allow your students to dive deep into the poem and contribute their own findings. It will also provide the educator with an understanding of what their students are thinking and why. The overall objective of the lesson is to provide students with different annotating skills that will allow them to understand the meaning behind text while using technology. Students will also be able to use different tools that are accessible to them on their laptops, such as the highlighter and digital sticky notes. As there is freedom when it comes to annotating on a digital document, students will be able to make it colorful and creative, all with a tap of their finger. Now, let's get started. The first thing that you would want your students to do is open up the text, in this case the poem, that you have chosen your students to work on. Keep in mind, if the text of your choice is not in a Word document, then it is vital that you transfer it over. If you do not know how to insert the text onto a Word document, all you have to do is make sure that it is saved onto your desktop. Once you have it saved onto your computer, you go on a Word document, you click on the Insert tab above, like so. You will choose the picture icon, choose the picture from file, and then you will be able to choose your text from your desktop. Once you have done that, your text should appear onto the Word document, and it will allow you to edit on it as well. Once they have the document open, the students will be taught the basics of annotating. As an educator, it is important to take a day where students are able to learn how to use the highlighters, sticky notes, underlining, circling under in words, etc. It's also important to have a sample of what simple annotations look like in order for the students to have a visual of what you are looking for. So through the sampling annotation guide, you're able to see what key elements are implemented in the poem that you may want your students to implement themselves. So in this case, the word icicle is highlighted and defined, as many younger students are probably not going to know what the meaning of that word is. Not only that, but melting and teardrops are also two other words that are defined in the text, as they are key elements to truly understanding what the poem means. And then, of course, lastly, there is also opposing sides, as it speaks upon icicles, but also the sun. So you may want to introduce some contradiction figures to your students, as icicles represent winter and the sun represents summer. There should also be a checklist provided to the students that allows them to have a structure of what the teacher is looking for. This annotation guide checklist allows students to make stars when they understand the meaning or importance of the title, underline any unknown words, draw question marks when they have any questions, highlight when there is information supporting the main idea, and create circles if they are able to make any connections. An annotating rubric can also be helpful for the students, especially as they are learning a new skill for the first time. An annotating rubric gives them a heads up on what you as a teacher are looking for, regardless if the text is simple or more complex. Through this rubric, there are 6 main categories that consist of identifying important information, identifying your own opinions, summarization, following along, participating willingly, and comprehension. And these may be some categories that you would like to add onto your own rubric as you do this activity with your own students. So now, as we're looking at the poem once again, the Word document has a draw icon that enables you to have many different tools. The first thing that I chose to highlight was the title Stand Up, as obviously that is important for students to understand. Then it allows you to change your color, so I chose to highlight in green the repetition of the word stand up. Then there is also a tool that allows you to underline, which students are able to choose whatever color they'd like. So in black, I underline unknown words that students may not know. The underline tool also allows you to change color. So in pink, I chose to do a little note on the side where I was able to make my own connections. Not only that, but once the students are done highlighting and underlining, they are also able to insert a text box by going on the insert icon and clicking on the text box, where they are able to create a text box wherever they please, and of course continue writing any definitions that they'd like or any of the connections or questions that they may have had while reading. Now that you have seen a tutorial on how to really annotate and get your students to start annotating on a Word document, now it's important to keep in mind that for this lesson, the poem should be read out loud first so that students can grasp the information and then they can individually find information on their own. If you would like, it's also important for them to collaborate on their findings. So if you would like to separate students into their groups for a couple of minutes just so that they can collaborate on their findings and see if there are any commonalities or differences for what they found. And it also just allows for their creativity to flow. And then, of course, as a teacher, it's important to continuously walk around the class to each group and observe whether they have been able to use the tools successfully on a document. Once all of the students have successfully worked in their groups, it's also important to give your students the opportunity to share out to the entire class. So hopefully by the end of this tutorial, you will be able to give your students a structure of what annotations truly are and what educators are generally looking for when they are asked to annotate any document in the future. Obviously, today's lesson can be altered in so many different ways, as annotating is a fundamental skill that can be used through any type of text. If you do have any questions, please feel free to email me at this email. And then you can also comment down below if you'd like. Thank you for watching, and always remember that things are ever changing. So continue to make your lessons unique and meaningful. Bye!